Gentlemen, the time has come once again to discuss things.
Hello, my name is Dr.
Red Leader and Red Leader and Phyllis.
Yep. That's his boy.
So everyone well acquainted at this point then?
Yep. We are ready to go.
Okay, cool. Let's see here. Yeah, that's enough time. Fuck it. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Geeky Gentlemen. I'm Part 2. Joining me today is a wonderful cast of characters. I got Deadpoolzilla. Hello, Deadpoolzilla.
Hello, everyone.
I have two special guests, first time on the channel. We have Red Leader Antilles. Hello.
Hey.
And Joel Davis.
Hello, everybody.
Indeed. Hello, everybody, indeed. So we are breaking Geeky Gentleman Horror Month for this episode, because a damn fine run in comics just finished up, and I am very excited to talk about it. So we're going to discuss the Kieran Gillen Darth Vader run, and let me just say, I had no idea that Amy from Doctor Who was such a good Darth Vader writer.
Oh, man. You know, it's kind of funny that we're doing this, and the Rogue One trailer just popped out today.
Yeah.
We thought too.
Mm-hmm. I'm the only one here who hasn't watched that, I suppose. In any case, before we get into the episode, I want to tell you, the listener, that you can download episodes of Geeky Gentlemen and listen on the go. There's a link in the description to download this episode. New episodes are posted with the episodes on YouTube. You can ask for old episodes to be posted by finding the old episode in the Geeky Gentlemen playlist, leaving a comment on the video, and I'll post it to the website for your downloading pleasure. That's a lot to say, guys. That's a lot to say. Alright, well, so I read this, I recently just reread the entire run, issue 1 to 25, and man, why did this end?
I have no idea. This comic has been by far one of not only the best Star Wars comics, but probably, I would dare say, that probably one of the best Marvel comics come out in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I'd put it right up there with Sam Wilson, Captain America, as far as books I love from Marvel right now.
I would put it, if you want to go, like, when you, I would put it like, when you think of Star Wars comics from Dark Horse, this has probably been one of the best. There are some, like, I would like this over some of the Dark Horse comics, and that's saying a lot.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I love the Purge comics and Lost Command. I think this does Lost Command better in one issue.
Yeah, and I would like, this is on par with Dark Times. Well, the first half of Dark Times. The second half is kind of meanders.
Yeah, it's a just fantastically written series that, you know, one thing I'm a big fan of is when people use their medium to enhance their story, so they do things that can only work in the medium in which they're working. And this has a lot of that. I'm a big fan of the way the panels are paced in this, and just there's a lot of great, really smart stuff like that in this book.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ian. Were you still talking?
No. Were you going to say something, or I think I heard Joel?
I was going to say something. I never read a lot of the Dark Horse comics except for the Clone Wars stuff and a lot of Star Wars tales. I had a lot of those growing up as a kid. I don't know. I always liked the Clone Wars Dark Horse stuff a lot. That was my thing, but before the TV show. But this is, like, really good. I didn't read a lot of Dark Times. I had a few. I remember one about a coup from a bunch of moths that wanted to overthrow the Emperor. But apart from that, I just really like this story. It's very simple, yet impactful all at the same time.
Yeah, there's just some really brilliant moments in it, so yeah, I quite love it. Deadpoolzilla, you were going to say something?
I was just going to say that this comic, Kieran Gillen is such a good... I think he was the perfect pick to write this comic because Karen Gillan does such a good job with villains. I mean, I love his Mr. Sinister and his X-Men run. And of course, he did such a great job with Loki in his solo run. And I think honestly, a lot of the dialogue, you could almost hear James Earl Jones's voice in a lot of the dialogue.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Yes, like there's that moment I don't know what you're doing, but noise. There's that moment from just issue 25 when she's like, but you promised me the saber, and it's just like, I promised nothing.
What was that noise?
Not me.
Not me.
Yeah, you're making some kind of noise over the mic.
Not me.
But yeah, that's just, I fucking love that line. There's so many just fantastic little moments for Vader lines.
I think my favorite is from Vader Down, where he's just like, all those rebel soldiers are around him, he's like, you're surrounded! All I am surrounded by is fear. And dead men.
Right! Oh my god, that was so kick-ass!
Like, that is probably my favorite Vader line ever.
And, no, what's almost better is from that same story arc when it's like, surrender! And he's like, very well, lay down your arms and you will not be harmed.
I think my favorite line would probably be, I have it on trade, sadly, the first, 3 trade volumes, would be, the final issue, I think it'd be issue 6 for you guys. It's the ending where Vader finds out about Luke, and he just goes, he will be mine, it will all be mine. I think that's, my favorite scene in the entire run. I know it's the others.
Yeah, crushing the glass, looking out at the fleet. Oh, that is a really good scene.
That's one of the things I was talking about when the panels are so perfectly used. You know, you have Boba Fett say the kid's name is Luke Skywalker, and just you see that panel of the grass cracking right in front of Vader's face.
What I also love,
it's just so poignant.
Yeah. What I love about, especially for Salvador Larroca's artwork, is that even though Vader is expressionless because of the helmet, you could obviously, he's still emoting through the helmet. You can just tell when something is said, like when Boba Fett, like Joel was saying about Boba Fett and him finding out, oh god, that's my son. He's just you could tell that pissed him off.
Oh yeah, to me that's the scene where the wheels in his head click. Something turns back on in him after years of kind of just being the Emperor's lapdog. I'm gonna call him that.
Yeah, it's really just brilliantly done how they communicate so much through these just really subtle motions. And there's a lot of times where you'll have the exact same panel, one with dialogue and without dialogue, and it just creates so much tension. And you just feel that you can just taste the tension in the air as you read some of those. It's great.
Oh,
yeah.
Another thing
sorry, Joel. I was just going to say, Red Leader, you've been very quiet.
Yeah, I got into the series really late, but I just love it so much because essentially the way I see it is post Dark Lord, the Rise of Darth Vader, Anakin Vader almost sort of became so complacent and nothing. He wasn't pushing himself. He had no reason to go on. He didn't have even though he was unrefined in that book, he afterwards lost a lot of his will, and this is almost like him becoming a mix of the refined kind of stronger episode 4 Vader, but with the personal streaks of anger that you see in the Purge comics and in
episode
Dark Lord where he's raging.
Yeah, episode 5, Vader's on a complete rampage. In episode 4, he just is kind of this intimidating looking dude.
That's because Tarkin was holding his leash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. In this we see
he misses
how
Tarkin.
You get that different, or where that character arc comes from, of why he's on just a frickin' rampage in episode 5. He just kills generals left and right. He has no patience for anything. Oh, it's so good.
I also love how he talks to Tag and he's like, you're not Tarkin. You are nothing compared to Tarkin. Because Tarkin's his BFF in the Empire.
Yeah, it's Tarkin had vision. You have statistics.
He just, whenever he has a chance, he just verbally beats down Tag.
Oh my god. And then the final issue, I was so surprised to see them leave Tag alive, to have him get off the Death Star, and then to make him into this, bureaucratic kind of military man. I thought that was really, really a neat character arc or characterization to go with for that guy, because all we know is that he doesn't believe in the Force and that he got choked by Darth Vader. That's all we know about that character from Episode 4.
Yeah.
Wasn't that Mahdi who got choked?
Really? Are you sure?
Yeah, it was Mahdi who got choked. Tag's the one with the button chops. He was watching.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I could have sworn it was supposed to be the same dude. My bad.
They all pretty much the same in that movie.
Yeah. But with Tag, I find it interesting that, he's the first. It's kind of funny because they even the Emperor said he was the only general who ever said the rebels are a huge threat outside of Tarkin, and he's the one who lived to see the other day after everyone's arrogance got them all killed.
So true. So true. Also, another thing I like about this comic is that I like also going back on how Vader kind of turns on the switch in his head. It kind of makes me, it's going to sound so weird, but not like the storyline of Force Unleashed a little bit, only because I like the idea of after Episode 3, before Episode 5, Vader's just like, I'm okay with being a servant. That's my life. I have nothing to live for. And then this is the book that sort of like shows you, oh, the Emperor pretty much, screwed me over big time. And I have something to live for now.
Yeah, you definitely should have both of those in one story, in one universe.
What I also like is how Karen Gillan writes Sidious. Oh, he is so good with it. Like, I love the moment where after he comes back from the first volume of the Star Wars Jason Aaron comic, and Palpatine is just chewing him out. He's saying, "Oh, you were certainly the chosen one, Vader. Chosen for the one to be responsible." Vader just has to take it.
Yep.
And
then I love how Vader gets compared to being a dog all the time, and so he just starts bringing Sidious dead bodies, left and right. He just keeps doing that, or he just brings people dead bodies even in this book. He brings one to Tag when he frames the one dude for espionage, and then he brings Sidious the body of Commander Carbon and all that stuff. It's just so okay, I'm a dog. Here's your present, bitch.
I do love that moment in when he brings Carbon's body to him, and you said it best in your review of the comic where he's like, that was him saying that you don't need these other apprentices, you need me, and you know it.
Yep. I just like the whole way the Sith dynamic works out here, and I think the last issue does a pretty good job of solidifying that, wherein, Sidious, in the back of his mind, even though he doesn't really want it because he would like to be the leader of the galaxy forever, in the back of his mind he knows, okay, this guy has to take over for me, which means he has to betray me, which means I need to know that he's going to be capable of running things, otherwise this was all a waste. And so, to see Vader, forming his own armies in the background and doing all this other stuff, he is it's kind of a bittersweet happiness for Sidious, because he's like, yes, you're finally doing the right kind of things, you're not just some Jedi that's now a cyborg, you are a true Sith now by the end of this book, and I really like to see how that relationship builds.
Yeah, because, a Sith kind of obviously, they don't want to die, but there's also that thing of, if your apprentice beats you in a worthy way, your kind of legacy is cemented in them. Mm-hmm. And so, Vader, if he wins and if he's worthy, he will be what is Palpatine's legacy. There's kind of a bit of pride in that.
Mm-hmm. And also, it's weird. I don't want to get too much into it, but one of the things that's always kind of bothered me about where the prequels leave everything is Anakin gives up everything to save Padme, and the Emperor tells him that he can save her and all this other stuff, and that they're, working for peace in the galaxy. But I'm sorry, I just don't buy that by the time, that as an explanation for character motivation by the time we get to episode 4 and 5 with Vader. So this helps work that a lot more. This helps to make that better so that Sidious isn't, basically lying to him about the Empire's true motives. motivations for the entirety of their career together.
Yeah, I mean, Dark Times kind of shows that starting to break with the where they bring up something really interesting that nobody ever talked about, which was, wouldn't Vader kind of take umbrage with the whole slaves thing, which they acknowledge there, and kind of, you see those, but nobody ever really completed it. Like, nobody had a point where Vader just finally was like, yeah, we're just evil. We don't care about order, we just want to kill people.
Yep.
And it finally does that.
Also, going back to Dark Times, issue 24, Red, didn't you say that was similar to another issue in Dark Times where he, like, meets the ghost of Padme or something?
Oh, Lost Command, where there's this sorceress woman who's, like, putting images of Padme in his head and, like, giving him other visions. There's, like, a scene where he just breaks down and kind of admits that he hates himself for killing her and in his, his kid and everything. And, I mean, like, I think his, like, respirator gets broken, and then he, like, holds up an entire base for, like, an hour or like 3 days without breath. And, like, it's weird, and, like, it's kind of cool, and the point is at the end, because it's like the ending for the Purge series of one-shots, the whole point is, haha, it's the Jedi Purge, but Anakin is also being purged. But I don't buy it as much, while here, they really do it effectively, especially with that line, you're nothing but a child, and I have become accustomed to killing children, which is just so fucked up and amazing.
Like, there's all this talk about, can we get James Earl Jones and everybody for a solo Darth Vader film? And I think if you leave Vader Down out of it, you could probably pull it off in this, with adapting this, and I would love it. Mm-hmm. I would love it so much.
Oh, me too. I think I want to add to your point, Ian, about the prequels for a second. I just want to say, I love how many references to the prequels this book had and how it doesn't completely shy away from everything. That's actually one of the big concerns a lot when I see online Star Wars forums. Like, they're always saying, oh, Disney's just going to reboot the prequels one day. I don't think they legally can, or they're going to wait until George has passed.
The thing is about the prequels is that while Disney can't reboot them and do them over again, they they don't really want to acknowledge them because they realize, oh yeah, everyone hates the prequels. Let's just not, try to do a lot there. But I always find it funny that, Karen Gillan and even Jason Aaron and some of the other writers who did Obi-Wan and Anakin, they basically are taking bits and pieces of the prequels because, yeah, they're terrible movies, but there is some good in there, in all that, that layer of shit.
Also,
definitely.
I love the Clone Wars stuff, too. I love the reference. There's direct references to Clone Wars, actually, with the Geonosians.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what I love about the series is it takes the stuff that works about the prequels and it makes it better. Like, I'll be the first to say, I don't like the prequels, but it definitely has its moments, and there's almost a good movie somewhere in those three. And so to see someone go in and just take the right moments, the specific little things you need, and just use them so subtly, it works perfectly here. Mm-hmm. It can give you a better appreciation for them reading something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or something like Darth Plagueis.
Yeah.
Well, Ian, watch our review of Darth Plagueis on my channel with Ian.
Plug.
Oh, yeah, shameless plug.
Yeah, I know. I can see where you're coming from with that. I'll give you that much.
Do you guys want to go ahead and talk about the supporting characters because they're also awesome?
000 and BT-1 are like the greatest duo ever. They're such a blatant ripoff of C-3PO and R2-D2, and I just do not care.
And HK.
Because they're amazing.
And HK-47. You gotta give a shout out to HK-47. Right, Red?
Yep. There's a little bit of Proxy as well.
Little bit. Not as much. It's mostly just C-3PO and R2, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of fun because you'd think, oh my god, it's just a blatant ripoff of R2-D2 and D-3PO, but they're so delightfully evil that you just don't care. It's like watching a better version of the characters that you're stuck with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just think they're absolutely hysterical together, and like it's the best kind of black comedy where absolutely nothing that 000 talks about doing is funny, but everything he says is hilarious.
Like, he's so delighted about killing people.
It's like, there's like the one where BT's just destroying a whole regiment of stormtroopers, And 000's like, no, don't you kill them all, you selfish little trash can. Leave some for me to torture.
Yeah, I'm shocked he didn't outright say meatbag at several points.
Yeah.
I could have sworn there's somewhere he said meat something, but maybe I was just
He says meaty masters, and I think he uses the word meat sacks at one point.
so close.
I do like how with Vader, with the supporting cast, is that even though they work for him, they still are like, even the droids, it's kind of hinted at, oh yeah, we're still terrified of the guy.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now what do you guys think of Dr. Aphra?
I like her. She's like, me and Red talked about it. She's like an evil Ahsoka almost. It's sort of like...
I'd see her more as an evil Han Solo, but, you know.
Yeah, with, like,
saw-
Indiana Jones as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Evil Harrison
Especially
Ford,
that-
essentially.
Especially with that entrance of, it doesn't belong in a museum, it belongs in an armory.
That was so good.
Yeah.
But what I like about the crew is that it's almost as if they were writing a Clone Wars episode, but instead of Anakin and his pals, it's Vader and his crew.
Oh, yeah,
That's a
essentially.
good
Their ship's kind of the Twilight, and then, yeah, it's like early seasons Clone Wars.
that's a good point.
Yeah, I do like Aphra that she knows it's borderline suicidal that she's hanging out with, you know, Dark Lord of the Sith here, but what I like is that how she's just so carefree about it, because it's almost like she has a plan at every step, especially at the end. And I know you were kind of disappointed with that, Ian, but hear me out. There may be a chance we can see these characters again, even though the comic's ending. And yes, Karen Gillan is doing another Star Wars comic, so maybe it's about them.
It is.
Oh, it is.
It is. They confirmed that.
It is. Okay.
Yeah, and like that's what I figured they'd be doing and stuff. I just don't like that she's able to trick Vader.
Well, maybe
That's what I don't like about it.
Maybe the story will conclude because, again, Karen Gillan didn't get a chance to conclude that story. So maybe this miniseries will be like the conclusion for Aphra and the rest of them.
It's ongoing, actually.
Oh, it's ongoing. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah,
I read.
see, my thing, though, is I just really would have preferred a 000 BT book as opposed to a Dr. Aphra book.
Well, I think
Like, they have that little
Here's the
mini,
thing.
and it's called The Misadventures of 000 and BT1, and I'm like, yeah, give me that, please.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think I just don't know if they could handle being a main title book. I think I like them better as supporting characters, since they work better when they're playing off somebody like Vader or Aphra, or even Black Kristanen.
That guy's fun.
Me and Red were talking.
Black Wookiee.
Me and Red were talking about this on Twitter. I think it was last night. We were just a little concerned that Gillen's going to go all Dave Filoni on her with like Ahsoka, or to put perspective, Ian, go all Clara Stephen Moffat.
Oh, God. We're gonna find out that she went back in time, like she's the reason, and that it's not because Qui-Gon played with the die. She's the one who made the whole deal with Watto and everything, and that.
Oh, don't you put that evil on me, you bastard.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like it just doesn't seem. It's such an unlikely scenario because okay, I'll buy that she doesn't think Vader will be merciful enough to kill her with a lightsaber.
But he could have choked
But
her.
you know what? Yeah, why not force choke her? There are like a million other ways that he could kill her besides
He
throwing
could
her.
have beaten her to death with her own arms.
Hang on. I think I may have the answer for that. The reason why I think Vader did that is because when she said, I hate to die outside of an airlock, and she went into detail of how she did that, I think she knew he was like playing on her. She was trying to bait into killing her the worst kind of way, because Vader, the whole thing is that Sith Lords get power from fear, and yeah, nothing's scarier than the fear of dying. So I think he kind of implanted that little thought in his head, so when he did try to kill her, that would be how it would be done, because in his head, that's how she's scared of dying. Oh boy, I get power from fear, this is how you're gonna die.
See, okay, here's my problem with that. Then she would have had to plan from the very beginning that she would have a way to survive.
That's the thing, is that
airlock.
Yeah, she knows.
But hold on. Let me finish. She would have had to plan from the very beginning that she was going to have a way to survive by getting thrown out an airlock, and we don't get the sense that she knew that would be possible until after they pull off the heist, which was planned by Vader.
Well, I think that's the thing, is that where was I going before before you threw me off? That's the thing, is that I think Aphra knew, I'm dealing with the second in command of the Empire. I'm going to die. There is no if, it's a matter of when, so I might as well plan ahead. And this woman is pretty smart, so I would actually buy that she had a plan in her head to, when the time came for when Vader, had no need of her anymore. It would make sense.
Yeah, but like you look at the first exchange when she says that, and she's ready for him to kill her right there. So she has no plan in the moment.
Well, I think she was baiting him into kill, oh, let's see if he'll kill me or not. And remember, this girl is suicidal, so.
I still don't think it works. I really don't like the idea that she's able to.
I understand that, but I'm just saying, it kind of makes a little sense. I mean, I'm not wrong here, right, guys?
Maybe she watched The Force Unleashed and knows that he has a thing for throwing his, apprentice people out airlocks. Because he did it to Starkiller.
That's true. And hey,
when did he throw Starkiller out an airlock?
The first time he betrayed him to Palpatine. When
he wasn't shot out of an
take him to get... And then
he threw him out the window.
Well,
he threw him out a window.
Yeah, but he threw him into deep space. Or not deep space, but in the middle of space.
But hey, it gives me hope that they'll find a way to keep Thrawn alive at the end of Rebels Season 3 and not have Callus kill him. That makes me happy.
How?
I don't know. I don't want Thrawn to die at Rebels Season 3. That's my big thing. I know that is yours too, Deadpoolville.
Anyway.
Don't think.
Anyway. So Aphra, I think, is a really cool character. I'm glad she's staying around for a little longer, but I don't think, I have a feeling that the best way this character's story is going to end is with her dying. And not because, she's not in the movies anymore. No, I think that's where Karen Gillan wants to take that character, is that eventually all of her past sins, I don't know, double-crossing Vader, that's one. It's all going to catch up to her. And she knows it.
I mean, how is Vader going to kill her when he finally catches up?
I don't know. See, that's the thing. If we're just going to kill her anyway, why didn't we just kill her here? Because it's such a satisfying, it's tragic, but it's a satisfying way for their relationship to end. She's crying, please no, not like this. I loved that moment so much. And then seeing her survive it, it just didn't work for me.
Maybe Jen will write a Kylo Ren series after Episode 8, and then she'll come back older, and then
Aphra is Snoke!
Yes, exactly. I was just going to say that. Aphra is totally Snoke. We're going to end Episode 8 with Snoke putting on the hat that she wears. And it's going to be like, holy crap, that's who it is.
No. Supreme Leader Snoke is Jon Snow. That is the...
No, it's Mace Windu. It's Mace Windu.
It's clearly an evil Windu.
It's Hondo.
Even though he lost his hand.
I still like the idea it's Hondo. And this is all just part of a big, elaborate scheme to pay off his creditors.
Yeah.
I could buy it.
Yep.
Anyway, I guess there's not really a lot to talk about with Black Kristanen other than he's just a great evil version of Chewbacca, just an evil
Pretty
Wookiee.
much. He's just fun.
I have one thing for him, which is...
I think they just created that character so they could have Boba Fett have his own Wookiee friend.
I would actually
really
would have
funny with Boba.
You know what I would have loved? I would have loved to seen Boba more on the team and be like, he's the anti-Solo and Black Kristanen's the anti-Chewbacca, and then we have Aphra as the anti-Leia, and of course we have the droids, and Vader is the anti-Luke.
Oh yeah,
that could have worked a bit better. That would have been fun.
It's funny, Aphra's like the anti-Leia and Ahsoka, at least for me.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got multiple hats. I think more than anything, she is evil Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Obviously.
And honestly, I would have liked it. I'm not just because I'm a big Boba Fett fan, but I really love the dynamic between Fett and Vader of how they have this business relationship and they have this this back connection between them, and it's a rivalry / respect between them.
Yeah, I like that quite a bit. It's also interesting when you take into account, Clone Wars and everything that we find out about Boba Fett. Because they used to fight each other, and now they're friends. How weird is that?
friends is not the word I'd use for anyone
Yeah.
around Vader.
Now they work together. There we go.
Work.
I also like the way we play around with Jabba. It's interesting. Like, I don't know. I like seeing more stuff with Jabba because Jabba's just a fun character. And I like how mob bossy he is here, not just like an idiot.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, when we keep having Jedi and Sith in Jabba's palace, I really wonder why no one took Luke more seriously in Jedi. Like,
Yeah.
if you go through Clone Wars, how many times were there Jedi in Jabba's palace, and then Vader's in Jabba's palace in the beginning of this series, and it's just like, how... Come
Luke
on.
did try to force choke Jabba first thing. He tried to talk to him.
Yeah, but he did choke his guards.
I love that. I love that moment where Jabba's like, ho, 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 your puny Jedi mind tricks will not work on the great Jabba. He's like, I ain't doing that. He just force chokes him. Like, this is how we do things by the Sith.
Mm-hmm. I also love the moment at the end of this run. I want to talk about the last issue a little bit more because it's so weird. All my problems with this run are mainly in the last issue. So I really like the way that this entire series plays around with the idea of more man than machine and what exactly the Force is capable of and not capable of. And it's a theme that's brought up a lot. You have early on 000 set up with this idea of draining people's blood, and then that turns into this whole really weird thing. Then you have everything that's going on with Silo, who's the idea that technology can replace the need for the Force. And Vader, even though he is alive because of science and technology and for no other reason, really, even though he's alive because of that, he's still, like, insistent that the Force is the most important thing.
It goes back to what Nadi said in episode 4, is like, your devotion to that sad religion and all that. It does really play in that line.
Mm-hmm. Vader's very much a Jedi, even though he's a Sith.
Or just a loyal Sith to that cause.
Yeah, he's old-fashioned.
Yeah, I really like the way they parallel all these things, because Silo is so sure that technology can replace everything and can supersede the Force in every way possible, and then he ends up dying because his technology... It's really, really smart writing, I think. He ends up dying because he's too dependent on his technology to control creatures, and Vader is able to supersede that using the Force.
Also, I just want to say, those whales, they look like the same whales from Doctor Who.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but yeah, it's also kind of funny with Silo is that I find it funny because he is very much like like Star Wars equivalent to Mr. Sinister.
Oh yeah, yeah, because he's got the clone thing. You got a point there.
And all the genetic
experiments. Did anyone else feel like Silo and his whole gang of misfits were a little out of place in Star Wars?
Hang on, what's that noise again?
Sorry, we'll open up all the back to look at an issue. I don't know. Silo's gang was...
Go ahead, Brett.
I like place, but they were a little weird.
I will admit it's a little weird, but Star Wars has done weirder. I mean, look at some of the stuff in the Thrawn trilogy and beyond.
Luke Skywalker. 2 years.
Yeah, and yeah, there was a few other things that made you scratch your head. So this isn't totally out of place, and it would make sense that, Sidious is looking for another rival. Not another rival, a apprentice. Because, it's the whole Sith's job to, the apprentice kills the master or vice versa. But at the same time, he's like, I want someone I can actually control because I know Vader's going to do that. But at the same time, he wants Vader to do that. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do find it funny that these are all supposed to be more superior versions of Vader.
Yeah, and it parallels them really well, this idea that, technology is so important and it's the only thing that can really make anything work. And then Vader's just able to... none of these are even a remote challenge to him when it's just one-on-one, is the crazy thing. And maybe that's that might be an issue of it's a comic, so you don't get to see as much of the action happening, so maybe Vader's having a more difficult time.
Well,
but he's just playing with them so much.
That's kind of weird, because in a lot of the Dark Horse comics, you see Vader, like, there are challenges for him, but I think the thing that saves the act, because there is some minimal action in here, I think it's the dialogue and just the artwork is what saves this comic, and there is some good action scenes, especially in Vader Down, oh my god. But I think that's kind of the thing, and plus, Vader, Vader's in the films until Return of the Jedi, so I think he's good.
Yeah, I get that, but still, like, some of this stuff, like, not necessarily the fight with Silo, but both the fight with Carbon and the fight with, what's his name? The other Techno-twin, as I like to call them.
The twins.
Yeah, the fight with Carbon and the fight with the Techno-twin just, it seems so effortless for him.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I don't know if that works better with the idea that the Force is infinitely stronger, or if it makes it too easy to just realize that. I kind of like the idea of Vader having to prove that the Force is better than technology, as opposed to it just being apparent to anyone who sees.
Well, I think in another way is that it could have been all a big test for Sidious, because he said, Sidious said to Vader that, if you still want to be my apprentice, fight these guys. So maybe it was just another test for Vader, all through, because I would not put past Palpatine to, do something, like, spend all this research just for a fucking test.
Hey, this is Palpatine we're talking about. This is the guy who cloned himself just to make sure he lived forever. Dark Empire.
Yeah, it seems like Silo's whole clone project, that actually kind of creates a problem then, because I'm pretty well, not a problem since it hasn't been done as far as I can tell.
Clones haven't been done in Star Wars? What?
No, not what I was saying. I was talking about the idea of, passing on memories in clones hadn't been done in the new canon, but it's obviously something we've explored in EU stuff. I just know that, even though I've not read it, that, Sidious cloned himself.
Well,
so, like,
he was actually transferring his spirit into those clones, though. They were like empty vessels, and then he put his soul into them, because apparently that light you see in Return of the Jedi isn't the lightning, it's his soul leaving.
Oh, fuck that.
It's just stupid.
Well, like, no, just the idea that Silo has this ability to have clones wake up with all his memories, I guess, almost to the point of death, roughly.
It's a Wayun thing.
Yeah, and so, like, it seems that Sidious would maybe want that technology.
Yeah.
Well, the thing,
so maybe they'll bring it back, but...
Yeah, the whole clones living, having all the knowledge up until point of dying, that's like something Karen Gillan did for his Mr. Sinister run, with all the Sinister clones.
Ooh, actually there is EU stuff in that. Ron and Izar did that. They put memories of themselves in their clones.
Maybe it's the Force use then that Sidious is having a problem with.
Yeah.
In clone transfer.
Well, yeah, I mean, didn't Force Unleashed kind of... Well, the EU so
they keep saying in Force Unleashed, too, that you can't clone Jedi, it just can't be done.
And then it happens
and then
in
they
the
just fucking do it.
Elite Squadron games where just, this Jedi just puts some of his DNA in one of the clones thinks are Kamino, and he has these 2 Jedi sons now, because reasons.
Fucking midichlorians, guys. Fucking midichlorians.
Well, it's not even the midichlorians, though, because the entire point with midichlorians is they have to be activated by the Force. So it still contradicts itself.
Yeah, midichlorians aren't really, if you go into the Plagueis novel, they're not really what generate the Force, they're more like a conduit for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still say, okay, I'm just going to give myself more midichlorians in my bloodstream, and then I'll have Force powers. That's the explanation that we get of midichlorians, in my opinion. That's the logic of it. But no, I'm glad this book stayed so far away from that. I am so happy this book stayed away from that crap.
Well, I think it's another mandate from Disney saying, don't mention midichlorians.
Thank God.
I'm just waiting for Latino to do that
they mention them in Obi-Wan and Anakin. They get brought in that series.
They do?
Yeah.
A little bit.
I didn't read the comic, so...
And it's worth it for the Sidious scenes.
I know you really liked it, Red.
Yeah, but that's mainly because we got a Republic frigate and stuff like that, so it was just cool imagery. And Ki-Adi-Mundi made a cameo, so I was happy. That's all it takes for me sometimes.
Ki-Adi-Mundi for the win.
Yeah, Carrot Head's always fun to see.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it could have worked better in another medium than comics to show Vader struggling more, or maybe it is supposed to be just apparently easy for him to defeat these guys. It's hard to tell.
I'm always curious to see Vader's fighting style, especially because, Episode 4, I love Episode 4, but it had the worst lightsaber duel. It's just click, click,
Yeah, it's really
click,
bad.
click, click, click.
Yeah. Yeah, it some of the action scenes are a little short in hand, but again, you really forgive it for the dialogue and
Yeah,
the beautiful
certainly.
art.
Was anyone else bothered by the last issue having that backup and not spending more time on the fight with Silo?
I was so why did this is your last issue? Give it more pages, not the backup stories.
I liked it as a reference to Darth Vader if it was supposed to be one.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the fact that in the same issue we have somebody getting killed, somebody who keeps transferring his body getting killed by being shot into a sun, and a Force-sensitive Tusken. That's kind of funny. I don't know if it's intentional, but that's funny. But still...
I'm guessing... Oh, sorry, Redley, I just wanted to say, was that supposed to be a reference to... I know he's not a Tusken, but that was supposed to be a reference to Asherad Het?
That's what I was thinking, is at least like it's just a subtle reference. Because again, you have somebody getting killed by being in the sun, which is how they killed him, and Force-sensitive, I guess he was half Tusken, I think. He's the Doctor. I'm half Tusken on my mother's side. And I'm going to get shot for that. But yeah, the design is actually a Tusken Shaman, which was supposed to be in, I think, a Season 6 episode for TCW that they didn't use.
Interesting. But no, I just like the backup story. It was kind of cool and neat, and I'm hoping they go somewhere with it. But it's the last issue. I feel like more of the pages should have been spent on the Silo thing, because that's the thing that feels short here.
Yeah, it belongs in the manual, not in the final issue.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, there's going to be another Darth Vader annual?
No, like it belonged in an annual or something like that. Like
yeah,
those
yeah,
kind of stories.
Yeah. Can we just talk about how awesome that story with that, not only the annual, but also that whole campaign that drawn from the annual came from?
God, that was fantastic. It's so cool to see just different kinds of warfare imagined. Like, subterranean warfare is just a fascinating idea.
Yeah.
They had battle drills. Fucking cool.
Why is this not a thing?
It might be.
Like stuff. I do like how everyone, and this is a big thing that Vader loves to do, I think, personally, is that when in the Darth Vader annual, when the king of, what is it, Sotarun?
Mm-hmm.
The king is like, look at Vader, this dumb lapdog, this dumb, arrogant brute. And Vader the whole time is like, Vader's like, I'm stupid, huh?
Smash.
You're dead.
Oh yeah, I love that. In fact, the campaign itself, again, it reminds me of Clone Wars, except, with Vader instead of Anakin. It's like watching Anakin with the Vader suit, because me and Red did an analysis of Anakin's character, and TCW Anakin is pretty much...
Well, I did with your whispering in the background.
I thought, whoops, we had audio issues that day, but it's like watching... TCW Anakin is like watching Vader without the suit, and he cares about people. That's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah, and like, to your point about it feeling like an arc in Clone Wars, there's that series of episodes, I can't remember the name of it, but like, it starts off with a rebel blockade, or not rebel, what's it called?
Are you thinking of Ryloth?
Separatist. Starts out with a separatist blockade of a planet,
Ryloth arc.
and then Anakin has to get them through that, and then Obi-Wan and the clones have like an air campaign episode where they just trying to land on the planet, and then once they finally land on the planet, they have to take locations. So it's this very tactical way of imagining warfare in just a very unique and interesting way, even though honestly you're just replacing, naval invasion with space invasion.
Mm-hmm.
Still.
I think Joel's right. I think it's the Ryloth story arc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't remember the arc off the top of my head, but that's how it feels. It's just such a new way of imagining how to like campaign a war, and so we just have this brilliant like hard science fiction element to it, and then to top that off with all these really fascinating ideas of like how to run an empire, or how the empire was run.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
fuck.
That's one of the reasons I love
Yeah.
the
I want
Truth.
fuck the Dr. Aphra offshoot. I want that character's offshoot. I want the Princess of Shou-Trun offshoot, because goddamn, her people are gonna hate her after the Empire falls.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that and I would love to see, because there is talk of a lot of comics in between episodes 6 and 7. I mean, obviously we have the Poe Dameron comic, so I would love to see if Karen Gillan gets a shot. I would love to see like a comic set at post Empire, after the Empire fell on Shou-Trun.
Yeah, or just literally anything besides Shattered Empire, because
Yeah, I'm still
it's
hoping.
such a nothing story. It has nothing happen in it.
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker goes to get a tree.
That's true. Yeah.
I would, as much as I'd love to see, where the Afro comic's gonna go, and I think it's cool that we're getting these original characters that are now, official EU characters, a part of this big universe. I think it's a cool idea that they have enough staying power and enough love for those characters to keep them around in this Star Wars universe rather than focus on one of the characters from the movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm still disappointed that we're ending the Vader book for reasons I cannot conceive of.
Yeah.
Like, I've read the Star Wars trades. I've read the first 2 volumes, getting the 3rd next week, and they're pretty good. They're enjoyable, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
They have fun moments.
Yeah.
But this is fucking gold. Why is this over and those things get to continue?
Oh yeah, it's unfair.
It was apparently sales, which I'm like, how did this get canceled because of sales?
That's ridiculous, because they've put out so many other Star Wars books, and like, if you can put out a fucking Lando series, which is
Chewie
awesome.
series.
Yeah. If you put out
yeah.
a fucking Lando and Chewie series, you can continue to like bite the bullet a little bit on a Darth Vader series.
Yeah.
I want
You know
my
what I'd
Thrawn comic. That's what I want. I want a Marvel Thrawn comic.
Well,
And put,
you know what I'd like to see, and just as a miniseries, like a story centered around Luke, and his new light, in between 5 and 6, focusing on him learning to build his new lightsaber. Because I know
You should go to between 5 and 6. Never mind. I was going to make a joke. You should just go to Twitter and start looking at the account Very Lonely Luke.
But I know it was a deleted scene. But yeah, I think it would be cool to do something like that. Anyway, yeah.
I mean, they kind of, on that note, I know it's off topic, but they say in the novelization that apparently some of the materials were in the box that Ben gives him. However, it seems like it's including the crystal, which I would love if they actually explained this fan theory that the crystal's actually Qui-Gon's, because that'd be awesome.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, the lightsaber, the Kyber crystal once was in the Qui-Gon's lightsaber.
Yeah, it makes sense.
anything to bring Qui-Gon up. I love Qui-Gon.
Just an excuse to get Liam Neeson on the page again, or just anywhere.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we got a little bit in Vader Down. We get some Qui-Gon lines,
Oh, yeah,
so
that's
there
good.
you go.
I know. We're getting Qui-Gon in the next Star Wars issue coming up soon.
Yep.
Okay. Yay.
No, I like a lot of the I like a lot of the way that this, to get back to the comic itself, something we touched on a little bit. I like the way this uses flashbacks, or just very brief, like it'll be a panel or two of flashback. Like I think it's in the first issue. You have Palpatine ask Vader if there's anything else he should be aware of, and it just cuts to that really quick scene of Vader inspecting Obi-Wan's clothing, and he doesn't understand how he disappeared. And then Vader just says to him, "No, there's nothing else."
He's dead. He's dead. Just keep repeating to yourself. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I do love that also, that scene where, again, it does use the images from the prequels when, after Boba Fett said to Vader, oh yeah, the kid's name was Skywalker, and then he uses the flashbacks, like, it clicks in his head, it's my son.
Yeah, like, it's weird, because, like, the best explanation, like, my favorite fan theory I've ever heard for why Vader was never able to track down Luke Skywalker, even though he was living with his uncle and using the last name Skywalker, is Skywalker is just a really common last name in the Star Wars universe.
Well, the other thing is that,
like Smith.
Again, he thought, he thought that in the comic and in Revenge of the Sith, he thought his children died in childbirth with Padme.
No, I get you.
Yeah.
I just like that fan theory because it's hilarious.
Which I love the fact that
also-
this book acknowledges the whole investigation of the fact that Padme was actually not pregnant when she died. Because it's something, again, the EU did sort of, but Vader didn't know, because it was the, what's his name? The Inquisitor from the Last of the Jedi books, except he finds out, and he's like gonna lord it over Vader's head, and he's so excited, and then he fights Ferris Olin, and Ferris knocks his lightsaber away, and so he jumps into the same pit that Maul fell down.
Oh.
Wait, are you talking about... Wait, are you talking about Jarek?
Not Jarek. This guy died about 5 years after Revenge of the Sith. It's the guy from the guy who fought Ferris Olin, the Last of the Jedi series guy, like one of the first Inquisitors. Okay, now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that guy.
I love Triple
because he
Zero
killed
sculptures.
Padme's grandma, I think, who was the one who dressed the body and everything.
Yeah.
I like the idea though. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I do love that issue of Vader just inspecting Owen and Beru's house. Because, that was his... In another life, that was his brother, or stepbrother, I should say.
And we never do anything with Uncle Owen and Peru after episode 4. Me and Red talk about this a lot. Like,
Luke's aunt and uncle are dead, and he doesn't even acknowledge it. I mean, the only time I think it's ever been acknowledged is in freaking Robot Chicken, where he's like, I can't wait to tell Uncle Owen and Aunt, ooh. Like, that's it. That's the only time. It's so dark.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the, that's kind of, like, I love that because it, again, I do love how Vader, it's not really visibly shaking him, but you can tell, like, okay, this happened behind my back, who the fuck did this?
Yep, and he knows it's Palpatine. Like, I love that little moment where he's like, unfortunately, in your anger, you killed her. And it's just like, they do the moment without the no, which is really refreshing.
I think a lot of that, like, SU-24 pretty much had the Mustafar scene again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. And it works so much better. We don't have Hayden Christensen yelling, I hate you. That was refreshing. I would have preferred, like, this is totally unfair to ask them to do. I would have really liked it if they just, drew Hayden Christensen, or they drew Anakin as the Clone Wars version.
Oh yeah, I mean, I wish the movie would just edit Matt Lanter, because Matt Lanter gets to say the I hate you line in Mortis, and it sounds 10 times better. They should have just edited that into the film.
Well, my big thing would be if Anakin ever appears in the new trilogy, I just want him to be the voice of Matt Lanter, like a disembodied voice talking to either Kylo or Rey or whoever.
Exactly. Just get him.
What was I gonna say? Can we talk about, like, some of the just how the artwork just tells a story by itself? Like how when Afra asks, "How'd you find me?" and it shows how Vader's just butchering people left and right, and she's like, "I'd rather not know."
Yeah, it's almost like a Family Guy cutaway gag at some points, but it's just awesome.
Something I always like to point out with these issues is how they draw Palpatine. I always find it interesting how sometimes he looks more like the Return of the Jedi Palpatine, and at other times he looks more like his Revenge of the Sith Palpatine.
That's one thing to acknowledge is that because the time constraints, both Aaron and LaRocca sadly do have to do a lot of sketching. Like, they use Luke's "No!" from episode 4, like, every freaking issue in Star Wars. And here they use Palpatine's exact face from Revenge of the Sith, like...
Oh, you mean like tracing over pre-existing images?
Yeah, they straight up take some of the images of Luke. It's kind of funny.
Oh, that is pretty hilarious.
Yeah, but again, like Red Leader said, it was probably because of time constraints. But
You know, that's not an excuse that's okay with me, since everything is written for trade nowadays.
well,
This has nothing to do with anything, but if everything's written for trade, then you shouldn't worry so much about the monthly book. You should be more concerned about making sure it reads well in trade.
well, some people don't read in trade, Ian. Some of
I
us,
read in trade.
But it's all written for trade, is the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the
I have to
fact
read
of the matter
trade.
is, the industry has changed to be more about the trade than the single issue. So if it should... You know how fucking distracting it is to read a trade and then have the art style completely change in the middle of a story? And just have, really shitty art randomly on certain pages because, well, they were trying to get it out for the monthly thing. Oh, that's great to know 5 years after the book had come out.
I'm having freaking flashbacks of Batman Eternal right now.
Yep. So just shit like that, I don't think that's an acceptable excuse anymore.
I know that all the time because I only buy in trade at the bookstore next to me.
Yep.
Comic book shop.
Anyway. Is there anything else anyone wanted to bring up about this book?
We didn't talk about the monocle guy, Sherlock Holmes.
He was fun.
Oh, it's Thanos. Oh, I thought you were talking about Silo real close. Oh, wait, Monocle. Oh, Thanos.
Oh, that's him. That's right.
Yeah, Thanos is a fun character. I just I do totally imagine that British accent because for some reason everybody in the Empire is British.
Excuse time. The core worlds have British accents, the Rim worlds have American accents. Totally makes sense, even though they completely contradict it several times.
Well, what's funny is I don't think there are any British people in the prequels.
There's Obi-Wan.
That's about it. Yeah, you really...
Ian McDermott's British, you asshole!
What?
Emperor Palpatine.
Oh, yeah, he is!
He doesn't sound British, though.
He kinda does. I think Bale has, a mildly not American accent.
I don't know, I find that funny. Let me put it this way.
I would love a scene where somebody turns evil and their accent changes as they, as they kill somebody, their accent changes to British.
Yeah. But anyway, on Tanoth, though, you can hear that proper British gentleman, and he even uses phrases that are just quintessentially British. Like, he goes, the hunt, my weakness, I got caught up in the hunt.
Hey, Christopher Lee, Count Dooku's British.
Count Dooku's. Remember,
but he's not even from the core world. He's from
Sereno.
He's from Sereno. He's in the corporate sector.
Yeah. Real quick on Thanos. You know who I've always if they cast somebody, if Thanos shows up in the movies, you know who I'd love to see play him?
Who?
Jonathan Hyde.
I don't know who that is.
He's the actor who played the big game hunter in Jumanji. He's in The Strain.
Oh, yeah.
That guy.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
He's the I just kind of imagine his voice coming out of Thanos' mouth.
Yeah, okay, on Thanos, though, from a story perspective, how did you guys feel about the way that he gave himself over for Vader to kill him?
I don't know. I was kind of sad to see him go. Kind of weird when I read it.
Yeah, but I think that was kind of his thing because he felt like he wanted to die to have some dignity to him. And
no, that wasn't it at all.
Okay, not dignity, sorry.
The answer that he gives as to why he's letting Vader kill him is he cares more about the security of the Empire, and he thinks Vader will be a better leader for the Empire than the Emperor.
You're kind of right. Most people are.
Okay, yeah, dignity was the wrong word, sorry.
Well, no, I don't really buy that because I just don't know how many people truly believe in the Empire. I guess I just don't get enough of a sense of what people like about the Empire besides Vader and Sidious.
Yeah.
We need more people like Ray Sloan.
I don't know who that is.
She's this character who, in the new continuity, we've seen as a sergeant, then we saw her as lieutenant, then an admiral. Now she's the Grand Moff in Life Debt, and she's fascinating because she isn't an evil, horrible person, but completely believes in the Empire, and she hates the rebellion for killing Palpatine, but she still doesn't like Palpatine. But she loves the Empire more than anything, and willingly will betray it even to save it.
We need a sense. I have no problem buying that someone would be loyal to the Empire, but I need to know what it is they like about it.
Yeah.
Like, obviously,
let me throw out this for you, is that maybe a lot of people love the Empires because it provides them security, because, yeah, the Star Wars galaxy ain't exactly a safe place, and now that the Republic is gone, all they really had was the Empire to protect them, and yeah, it wasn't great.
And even the Republic abandoned the freaking Rim worlds so many times.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how
it's very
many plagues and stuff never got fixed because the Republic had its head up its own ass. I mean, you see that with a lot of people, especially, I mean, you see that a little bit with Rachel and her backstory. You see that a lot in the EU, where a lot of people who were just hurt by the Clone Wars and by the Republic bureaucracy are the main Imperials, where they're just so sick and tired of, you know, how long it took to get help and stuff like that they don't even care that the Empire's evil, because as long as they're safe.
Yeah, and see, I can see that, but the problem is you're inferring that, and it's not in the book itself.
Yeah,
right?
we needed to get into the mind of maybe like a young lieutenant or something and get their kind of perspective.
That's why I've always kind of wanted an Imperial book focusing on like a stormtrooper or an officer in the Empire, like kind of like a boots on the ground their kind of perspective.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that, with Thanoth, going back to him, I think it's really cool that how he and Vader, it started off almost like, it's not really antagonistic, but it's still like...
game.
Yeah, it's a cat and mouse game.
Yeah, it's a brilliant bit of cat and mouse, and it's just, this is, as much of it as an action series and a sci-fi series and science fantasy series, it's also so great at just espionage. Mm-hmm. It's such a tension-filled, high-anxiety espionage series, and I love that about it.
Yeah. With Thanoth, I love how he kind of like at first he's playing this game with Vader, and eventually at the end of the story arc he's introduced in, he's like he's enjoying Vader's company.
Yep.
Yeah. And Vader's just like, I don't care.
Yeah. Okay, is there anyone else that we haven't covered that we should have? No? Okay, I think that'll do it for this episode then. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to ratings. I'm going to go first so no one can steal mine. I will give Darth Vader by Kieran Gillen 4.5 torture protocol droids out of 5.
I bet why it's not 5 out of 5 for you. It's the ending, isn't it?
Yeah, there's just too much stuff about the ending that I don't like.
You're a hard man to please, Ian. You know that?
The most important part of the story, and
right.
there's some stuff that I'm kind of soured on by the end.
True. I mean, the ending to Return of the Jedi is the reason why I love that movie.
Yeah, could you imagine if the ending of Return of the Jedi sucked? No one would like that movie.
I don't necessarily love I like the third act. I don't like the second act.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
So who's next?
I'll go next. I'll give it a 4 out of 5 commando droid to follow Vader's orders.
All right. I will give it 5 dead men out of 5.
Red?
I'll give it 4 Death Stars and 1 of the second Death Star. So 3.75 or 4.75. It's only a fourth that's missing.
True.
That's...
I was waiting to use that.
That's really good. I really appreciate that. Okay. Everyone, thank you very much for watching. This was a fun episode. We'll be back to Horror Month for the rest of the month here. And then we go to History Month, then Holiday Month, and it's just the whole thing. All right. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Until next time, I'm the Philosopher.
I am the Creator.
I'm the average Joel.
And I guess, I don't know, Red Leader standing by. I'm the squadron leader, so there.
There we go. See, you came up with something. It's good. And we're Geeky Gentlemen, and we will be discussing things.